The space station Orion's crossing drifted quietly between two spiral arms of the galaxy, a place where dozens of alien species passed through every day. For most travelers, it was nothing more than a waypoint. For Dr. Marcus Hale, it was home. Marcus was a human physician stationed there under the Interstellar Medical Accord, a treaty designed to ensure that any species, no matter how strange or unfamiliar, could receive medical help. In theory. In reality, most aliens didn't trust human medicine. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, barely 50 years since their first contact with alien civilizations. Their technology was crude compared to the ancient empires that ruled the stars. But humans had something unusual: adaptability. Marcus leaned back in his chair inside the small medical clinic, staring at the glowing diagnostic monitors. It had been a quiet day, just a fractured tentacle from a cargo accident and a mild radiation rash. Nothing serious. He was sipping lukewarm coffee when the emergency alarm suddenly blared. Red lights flashed across the walls. "Medical emergency incoming," the station AI announced. Marcus sat upright. Species: unknown. That wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the next line. Condition: critical. Marcus grabbed his med scanner and moved toward the clinic doors just as they burst open. 4 towering alien warriors stormed inside. Each stood nearly 8 feet tall, armored in dark metallic plates etched with glowing symbols. Marcus recognized them instantly. The Carthari, one of the most feared warrior races in the galaxy. Their empire controlled dozens of systems, and their soldiers were legendary for their strength and discipline. But the warriors looked desperate. They carried something between them, a body. And when Marcus saw who it was, his heart skipped. A Carthari woman. Her armor had been removed, and dark blue blood soaked the cloth wrapped around her waist. One of the warriors stepped forward. "You are the human doctor?" Marcus nodded slowly. "Yes." The alien hesitated. Then he said something Marcus never expected to hear from a Carthari warrior. "Please help her." 2. The impossible injury. They placed the injured woman onto the medical table. Marcus activated the scanners. The results made him frown. The wound was deep, located along her lower abdomen, just above the hip. The flesh had been torn open by what looked like a plasma blade. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was the internal damage. Marcus zoomed the holographic scan. Several of her internal organs had ruptured, and something else caught his attention: an unusual gland near the wound. The warriors watched silently. Finally, the tallest one spoke. "We have taken her to 4 healers across 3 systems." Marcus glanced at him. "And they could not save her." Another warrior added quietly, "They said the damage was too complex." Marcus studied the scan again. The alien anatomy was strange, layers of muscle fiber that wrapped around internal organs like protective bands. Their circulatory system ran in 2 separate loops. But the biggest challenge was the gland near the wound. Marcus had seen it once before in Carthari medical data. The life core gland. It regulated hormonal balance and immune response. If it failed, the entire body would shut down. Marcus looked at the warriors. "You're saying alien healers refuse treatment?" The tallest warrior shook his head. "They tried. And failed." Marcus folded his arms. "And now you came to a human." The alien nodded. "Yes." Marcus sighed. "All right." He activated surgical lights. "Let's see what we can do." 3. The human approach. Most alien healers relied heavily on advanced nanotechnology. Machines repaired tissue. Artificial enzymes regenerated cells. But Marcus knew something many aliens didn't. Technology wasn't always the answer. Sometimes you needed hands. He carefully cleaned the wound while monitoring her vitals. Her heartbeat, if it could be called that, was slowing. Marcus spoke to the AI. Prepare microsutures and regenerative gel. The warriors watched every movement. Their injured companion stirred slightly. Her eyes fluttered open. They were deep violet. She looked at Marcus weakly. A human? Marcus gave a small smile. Yeah. She winced. You cannot help me. Marcus shrugged. Maybe not. Then he picked up a surgical instrument. But I'm going to try anyway. 4. The real problem. Once the wound was fully exposed, Marcus saw the real issue. The life core gland had been partially severed. Alien healers had likely avoided operating on it. Too dangerous. One wrong cut, and the patient would die instantly. Marcus stared at the delicate organ. Interesting. The warriors tensed. What is it? Marcus spoke honestly. This gland, it controls half her biological systems. Yes. If it shuts down, she dies. Yes. Marcus nodded. That's what the other healers thought. The warriors exchanged glances. You sound uncertain. Marcus smirked. Not uncertain. He picked up the microsutures. Just thinking. Because humans had something alien medicine often lacked. Creative problem solving. 5. A risk no one else would take. Marcus studied the damaged gland carefully. It wasn't completely destroyed. Just torn. If he could reconnect the neural filaments and stabilize the tissue, it might recover. But it required precision beyond anything the autosurgeons could handle. One of the warriors asked quietly, Human doctor, if you fail? Marcus didn't look up. She dies. Silence filled the room. Marcus took a breath. Good news, though. What? I'm stubborn. And then he began the surgery. 6 hours of uncertainty. Time passed slowly. Marcus worked with intense focus. Every stitch had to be perfect. Every movement precise. The warriors stood silently around the table, watching. They had seen battlefields filled with death. But this was different. Here, one human held their comrade's life in his hands. After nearly 2 hours, Marcus leaned back. The gland was reconnected. The wound sealed. Now came the hardest part. Waiting. 7. The moment of truth. The monitors beeped softly. Her vitals stabilized, then dipped again. Marcus frowned. Come on. The warriors watched the screen. One whispered a quiet prayer in their language. Then suddenly, her heart rhythm strengthened. The second circulatory loop activated. Marcus exhaled slowly. Well, look at that. The tallest warrior stepped forward. Is she? Marcus nodded. She's going to live. The room fell silent. Then one of the warriors lowered his head in deep respect. You have done what no healer in the galaxy could. Marcus chuckled. Not really. He wiped his hands. I just didn't give up. 8. The warrior awakens. Hours later, the injured Carthari woman opened her eyes again. Marcus was sitting nearby reading a medical report. She spoke weakly. You are still here. Marcus looked up. Doctors usually stay until their patients wake up. She studied him carefully. You saved me. Marcus shrugged. That's the job. She frowned slightly. Why? Why what? Why risk your life for an alien warrior? Marcus leaned back. Because you needed help. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said something surprising. You are strange. Marcus laughed. Yeah, humans get that a lot. 9. A warrior's gratitude. The other Carthari warriors entered the room when they heard she was awake. Their relief was obvious. The tall one spoke to Marcus. In our culture, a life dead is sacred. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Oh. The warrior continued. You have saved one of our greatest fighters. Marcus glanced at the woman. Really? She smirked weakly. Commander Arava. Marcus whistled. Well, glad to meet you, Commander. The warrior continued. Because of this, our empire now owes you a debt. Marcus waved a hand. Honestly, just paying the medical bill will be enough. The warrior stared at him. Marcus chuckled. Relax. I'm joking. 10. The unexpected truth. As Arava recovered over the next few days, Marcus visited regularly. They talked about human medicine, about alien biology, about war. Eventually, she asked him something serious. Why are humans so different? Marcus tilted his head. How? Other species rely on perfection. She gestured to the medical machines. But you rely on improvisation. Marcus smiled. That's because humans evolved in chaos. Chaos. Disease, injury, disasters, we had to survive everything. She studied him thoughtfully. That is why you succeeded. Marcus nodded. Exactly. 11. A new reputation. Word spread quickly across Orion's crossing. The human doctor had done something no alien healer could. Saved a Carthari commander. Soon other species began visiting his clinic. A reptilian trader. A crystalline life form. Even a member of the ancient Valorians. Marcus treated them all. And every time someone asked how he did it, he gave the same answer. Humans don't quit. 12. The farewell. 2 weeks later, Arava stood fully healed in her armor. She approached Marcus in the clinic. My ship leaves today. Marcus nodded. Glad to hear you're back on your feet. She studied him. There is something you should know. Yeah, my people will remember this. Marcus shrugged. Just doing my job. She stepped closer. In our culture, saving a warrior creates a bond. Marcus raised an eyebrow. What kind of bond? She smiled faintly. The kind that ensures humans will always have allies among the Carthari. Marcus blinked. Well, that's good for humanity. She extended her hand. Marcus shook it. And this time, they both understood the meaning. 13. A human legacy. After she left, Marcus returned to his desk. The station was quiet again. But something had changed. Humans were no longer seen as inexperienced newcomers. They were something else now. Problem solvers. The species that tried when others gave up. Marcus smiled as the next patient entered the clinic. Another alien. Another mystery. Another challenge. And as always, the human doctor was ready.